Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name's Hannah, and today I'm going to be talking about how study abroad changed my life. This entire video is going to kind of be going over a couple of questions that I received from Instagram, as well as a couple of questions that I've been receiving in my comment section since I studied abroad, and as well as since I've been back from studying abroad. It's kind of crazy to think that this time last year I was living and studying in Germany, and I was traveling a bunch. Like, I was going to France for spring break, and I was going to Amsterdam, and all of these really cool places. It truly is such a big difference from like my life right now. But all in all, I can honestly say that although it's cliche, study abroad really did change my life in many different ways. I think it changed a lot of my world viewpoints. It obviously, as I've talked on this channel before, has improved my language skills exponentially. It's also had a huge influence on my style and my personality and how I am just as a person now, and as well as how I deal with certain problems in life. And with that, today I'm going to be talking about the different changes that I've experienced just in my own personal life due to studying abroad, and I'm going to be answering a couple questions from you guys that some of y'all have been really curious about. And I'm so sorry that I haven't done this video. I promised to do this video probably about a month ago. I have been extremely ill for the past month. I think I got like a cold and then the flu, and then I ended up getting a sinus infection. So I haven't been my 100% best, and I've been super busy, and it's just been an overall really crazy semester. So I haven't had time to sit down and film this, and I just felt like it would be nice to kind of sit down and film and talk to you guys, because I think that it's been a while since we've done this. So leave me comments down below on how you're doing, if you got sick, all that jazz. I'd really love to hear about it. So first off, I'm going to be talking about how my world views have changed since studying abroad. I truly believe that there are things that I learned while living in Germany that I probably would have never learned if in the event that I had stayed in the US my entire life. I think for those of you who have left your home countries before for long periods of time, or even for those of you who have traveled immensely outside of your home country, it's truly eye-opening to be able to experience different cultures, even if the culture may be similar in some ways to your own. I major in German, so being able to learn about German cultures is a very exciting thing for me. There is a clear difference in the way that I learned culture in my actual language classes as opposed to the way that I learned culture through just experiencing it. I can read all day long about the differences between American and German culture, and I can talk your ear off about it. There is something really special about being exposed to it for the first time in a public place, or while you're living there and experiencing things one at a time or all at once. Getting to see these key differences that aren't always noted in a textbook is really special. I think the best part about learning about cultures while you're actually living in the country that practices these cultural norms, it really allows you to analyze your own cultural norms and the differences between the culture in which you are used to in your home country and the culture that you are being exposed to in your host country. It really allows you to think about what your own beliefs are and kind of pick and choose cultural aspects that fit to your beliefs and your personality and just things that you prefer in general. And by getting to experience all these things, you also become a lot more accepting to cultural differences, because you realize that even though they're different, there's still beautiful aspects to it. The point that I'm trying to make is that when you end up putting yourself in a situation where you're experiencing cultural norms that are different from your home country's cultural norms, you end up accepting a lot of these norms as your own norms, if that makes sense, and you find this beautiful mixture of the culture's norms and your norms kind of mixing together to create you and to create things that you prefer in ways and methods and practices that you prefer as well. And I think through that, it truly shows the impact that a culture can have on your life, and particularly on your personality after you're done living in a situation that is relatively different to the situation that you're used to in your home country. Since studying abroad, because it required me to be so open-minded and to step out of my comfort zone and allowed me to see cultural differences, it truly taught me how to be assertive and direct like a German without being rude, of course. I've really seen that shift in my personality and that shift in how I handle certain situations, particularly in a professional environment. I definitely was much more introverted and shy about being assertive and being direct about what I want and what I need out of my professional career, whereas now, because of studying abroad, because of all the things that I learned and the personality shift that I've experienced, I'm definitely more assertive than I've ever been before, and I'm very confident in the workplace. It's not so scary anymore stepping out of your comfort zone. It makes me excited to get to try new things. I think that's as a result of me just being alone while I was studying abroad. I mean, I had my boyfriend, he was like 2 hours away from where I was studying, but you know, being alone and getting to problem solve things on my own, having to take myself to the doctor, for example, and explain to the doctor what was going on in German because they didn't understand English, or having to communicate what I wanted out of an internship, it really taught me how to be a better communicator and be more assertive with my situation, my wants, my needs, etc. It's something that I'm extremely grateful for. I also think the biggest influence that study abroad had on my life, particularly right now, is the way that it taught me about sustainability and about the environment. You know, I grew up in Texas. That's not something that everybody talks about. It is an issue that is getting increased attention, and it is something that more people are getting involved with and more people are getting serious about. With Germany, I got dropped into a city that sorts its trash in like 4 different ways, and that's something that I've never really experienced before. In Houston, we have regular trash waste and recycling, but recycling is picked up seldomly and the trash waste is picked up weekly. So in general, it's just not a good system right now. It's getting better, but it's not ideal for people, particularly who are trying to live a sustainable lifestyle. Germany really pushed me to start thinking about my impact on the world and my impact environmentally in particular, not only with the amount of like food waste that I create, but as well as the amount of material waste that I create. Yeah, I'm particularly mindful about where I buy my clothes, how I'm buying my clothes, and where I'm donating and how I'm getting rid of clothes. It also really impacted how and what I consume. I definitely don't eat as much meat as I did before I studied abroad. In general, my worldviews were pretty open before studying abroad, just because of how I was raised, because I had experience with taking a language and I had experience with multiculturalism. For one thing, I live in the most diverse city in the US, so for me, being open to cultures was not an issue. It was just realizing the impact that cultures truly had on my well-being and my personality and just my upbringing as well. I think study abroad really taught me how to explore different cultures and explore different countries without an apprehensiveness or a fear of something different or a fear of stepping out of my comfort zone. At some point a couple months ago, I got a comment in my comment section asking if my style had changed as a result of studying abroad. And at the time, I think I said no, but I think I'm gonna change my answer to that because I've noticed that it has had a huge impact on my style. Because I studied abroad for a year, I ended up having to pack a suitcase for an entire year and be prepared for all and any seasons that I may encounter while I was studying abroad or traveling abroad. As a result, I picked out all of my favorite pieces and all of my favorite styles of clothing, my favorite colors, etc. And when I came back, I realized that all the things that I brought with me were my favorite things, and all the things that I left behind were styles that either didn't work or just that I wasn't interested in anymore. By doing this, I was able to really see what kind of clothing I truly enjoyed and narrow down my style aesthetic in a sense. I've narrowed my closet down to a style aesthetic that somewhat emulates the in-between French girl style, Amsterdam street style, Berlin street style, and Scandi street style. All of these influences combined have created the style aesthetic that best fits me and best fits my personality. I think the experience has also helped me to be more open about trying different styles that may be a little too much or too crazy for some people. And then my last point is, I don't think I talked about this in the intro, but studying abroad also had a huge impact on my future plans and what I want to do with my life. Studying abroad was actually the reason why I decided that I wanted to go on and get a postgraduate degree, a master's or a PhD. I'm kind of weighing my options right now, but getting to live there and truly understand the impacts that certain political situations and political decisions are having on just overall life within Germany itself and life of certain populations within Germany. As a result, I've gotten really into international relations, particularly regarding refugee crises. And because of that, it's influenced me to potentially start looking into programs that could lead me down that path. Overall, studying abroad in Germany kind of opened that door for me and allowed me to see that I can potentially handle studying not only in Germany, but also studying abroad outside of my home country and being able to handle myself. Alrighty, so now I'm going to be answering some of y'all's questions really quickly because I'm running out of camera battery right now. The first question I got was, what are the best places to eat in Lüneburg? I made a list of a couple just so that if you have specific preferences, you can definitely try these out. I'm gonna put every restaurant that I list down below so that you can just copy it and search it. For the best doner, I highly recommend the doner shop Merhaba. It's just past the Rathaus when you're walking towards the Bürgeramt. That's where you get like your residence permit. If you're looking for decent pho or Vietnamese food, or maybe potentially looking for vegetarian or vegan options, I'm a terrible Vietnamese person, but there's this restaurant called Quán An Ngon. I think that's how you pronounce it. I may be wrong, but again, the name is in the list down below. I'm half Vietnamese, so I always needed kind of that pho fix, so that's the place that I went to a lot. They also have really good mojitos there. They put like coconut water in it. It's very good. I highly recommend that. If you want sushi, I have 2 sushi options. The first one is a little more expensive. It's called Sushibar Lüneburg. And then the second one is a little cheaper, and they also offer like an all-you-can-eat special, and that one is called Sushi Wok. If you want good Turkish food, the restaurant, sorry, the restaurant Bodrum, I think that's how you pronounce it. It's right off of Amzande. It's really good. They have really good Turkish coffee there, I believe. If you're looking for currywurst, obviously Jim Curry is the place to go, and you've probably already heard of that before. But they also have really good barbecue sandwiches if you're looking for like some barbecue. Again, I'm from Texas. I needed to curb that craving, and that did it for me. There's also a bar past Jim Curry called September. They have really good pizza. Highly recommend for like a late night out sort of situation. If you're looking for good Italian, I highly recommend La Taverna. They have great pasta selections, and then these 2 selections are more of like my favorite things that I like to eat, but they're located in Hamburg. If you want really good smoothies or curry that's not super authentic but still good, I highly recommend Dean and David. There's like a little bitty one in the Hauptbahnhof in Hamburg. I think they also have a restaurant closer to Europa Passage, but I'm not entirely sure. If you want ramen, I highly recommend the Kokomo Noodle Club in Hamburg. It's in St. Pauli, but it's also near really good thrifting, so you can kind of make a day out of it. You can go get some good thrifting, go get some good ramen, just have a great time in St. Pauli. And then somebody asked, are personal hygiene products the same in Europe? Should I take my own if I'm picky? So to answer your question, that's really dependent on where you live or where you're going. There were some products of mine that I couldn't find in Germany, like preferred hair products, because at the time I had bleached hair, so I had to have like leave-in conditioner to make sure that my hair didn't look like hay all the time. But I also anticipated that some of the products weren't going to be the same, so I brought some of my favorite products and just left some of my other products. So I brought my specific leave-in that I like to use. I also brought specific makeup I like. If you're super picky about certain products, bring those certain products, but if you're not picky about other products, just leave those products at home. Just remember, the more hygiene products you bring, the heavier your suitcase can be. For the most part, most European countries have a great selection of hygiene products that either are similar to the brands that you have or are just recognizable in brands that you haven't tried. Alrighty, my camera battery died, so I'm going to have to do this via my Mac. For my ladies that prefer tampons with an applicator rather than a tampon without an applicator, I highly recommend that you bring enough tampons with an applicator to last yourself the entire time that you're going to be in the country that you're going to be in. The only type of tampons that I saw and I found were only tampons without applicators. For this question, I definitely suggest that you weigh your options and definitely do your research about the products that are sold there. Or if you're not finding any information and you're studying abroad with a program, talk to your program directors. They can definitely give you information on that. The last question that I got asked was how to make friends. Just FYI, I have a video on this. I'll put a link to it up here just so that you can go ahead and watch that. To kind of briefly answer your question without reiterating that entire video, it can be hard to make friends while studying abroad sometimes, and I don't want you to feel like you're alone in this and that you're alone in this feeling, because that is something that I truly believe everybody goes through while studying abroad. It's definitely hard to make friends while studying abroad, but I don't think that it's impossible to make friends while studying abroad. I definitely recommend that you try to befriend people that you normally wouldn't befriend on your own college campus, because these people that you normally wouldn't befriend on your college campus may actually become the best people that you know in your life. If you are trying that and you're just not really getting anywhere and you're still having issues, definitely try to talk to somebody, particularly your program directors, about it, or try to get involved in activities or events that are going on in your campus. You can even maybe potentially ask your program directors if there's any opportunity to have a tandem partner with a student that is going to the university that you're going to. There are many ways that you can try to make friends while studying abroad, and I know it's difficult. Definitely try to ask about the different options that you have and the different options that maybe your directors may have for you. Alrighty guys, so that is it for my very long-winded, overdue video regarding how study abroad has changed my life. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and if you did, make sure to give it a thumbs up, subscribe down below, and hit that bell so you can get notifications every time I post a new video. I hope you have a beautiful week, and I will see you guys next Sunday. Bye guys.